After an amazing race last week, we come to the world's center of speed, in my opinion, Talladega, Alabama, the world's fastest tri-oval track in the country for the next round of Sunday Night NASCAR. Welcome to the Tricia's Hope 250. Tony Trapasso up in the booth with you. Sorry for the delayed start here, folks.
We're not going green.
But I just got in from yet another race earlier, so I'm running a little bit behind here tonight. I do want to welcome my broadcast partner, Josh Coppernoll. Josh, welcome to Talladega.
This should be a really fun race, exciting. Pack racing we saw at Daytona last with Joe Stafford winning. That race back there, this is a wild card. Anything can happen. We got a crazy one tonight.
And it's going to get even crazier with track conditions showing at 117 degrees Fahrenheit, 9-mile-an-hour winds down the back straightaway, and relatively low humidity. It's going to be a fun one for sure. Let's take a quick look at our starting grid. Starting up on the point is going to be, and I'm going to slap whoever set this SDK up, Trowbridge. I don't have a first name, but
Tim Trowbridge.
Thank you, sir. Tim Trowbridge checking in as, let me make sure we are hot. And we are hot. Okay, cool. Jeremy Miller going to start outside row number 1. Randy Spivey and, again, no first name. Thank you.
Looks like it's going to be Timothy Swigett starting in 4th.
All right. Then we got Alex Princeton and Austin Story in row number 3. Row 4, Chad Sanner and Kristen Stewart. Jared Phillips and Bob Nestor in row 5. Row 6 goes to Matt Gaskins and Josh Ward. Go ahead.
Jarrett Phillips and Bob Nestor in row 5. I'm sorry, that is going to be Ken Ron and Charles Eaton. Raymond Root starts 15th. Alex Murray 16th. Chris Claude 17th with Leo Bonacasa starting 18th. Dave Regal starting 19th. And Aaron Mack starts in the 20th position.
That brings us to row 11. That's going to be Nick Bredenbach and Noel Hodgson. Kajava Colt, and I'm going to butcher his name all night, and I apologize for doing so. It's going to be joining Joe Stafford in row 12. Casey Gibson and Dalton Mobley in row 13. Row 14 is going to go to Brandon Klug and Brandon Motto. Steve Giberson and Seba Korn's going to roll off in row number 15. Kevin Rourke and Jeff Carson in row number 16. Row 17 is going to go to Marty Roberts Jr. and Decker in, where are we here? That is row 17. Row 18, Brian Tarnowski and Brad Gunn. Derek Jacobs and Andrew Lawton in row number 19. Row 20, going to go to Jad Khalif and Warren Young. Row 13, John Baldwin and William Fink. And so 32 cars scheduled to roll off here tonight. 75% fuel fill. 94 laps scheduled distance here tonight at Talladega. As the field works its way out of the Turn 4 complex, pace car peels down below the mustard line. Tim Trowbridge is going to have the button as the field works its way into the tri-oval. The only thing that's left for me to say, folks, is it's time to wipe the visor, adjust the 5-point harness. Grandma, pop some popcorn, because it's time to get it on south of the Mason-Dixon. Race fans,
Green, green.
it's showtime!
Great start there out of the outside lane from 44 Miller. He's got help from behind the 37 of Swigett. No help there for Jeremy Miller on the bottom.
Yeah, absolutely. Tim Trowbridge is falling back a little bit here. The bottom lane starting to get organized as here comes Story in the 23. He's going to go with Miller on the low side now.
Yeah, Austin Story.
Go ahead.
Surprised to see Austin Story up here this early. I would think that he'd be one that would want to stay in the back, try to avoid all the chaos.
Well, unfortunately, he's got the cursed car with him tonight. Any car that's ever driven the McDonald's paint scheme has usually been a curse. Let's just put it that way. Miller, Story, Stewart, Spivey, Trowbridge, Swigett, Princeton, Nestor, Spanner, and Bonacasa rounding out your top 10 as we are still too wide. That second lane not getting as organized as they probably could be and should be, because that has been the preferred line in the next-gen Cup cars.
Yeah, which surprised me a lot. I did a race earlier, it was the NASCAR iRacing series this morning. Someone else that was in that race that you hear on these broadcasts, Emily Urias, was also in that race. And I was very surprised to see that it was a high-line racetrack, that the low line really didn't work if you had the cars on the outside really get together and just stay out there.
Well, here's the thing. In NASCAR got it, iRacing got it right. Because we found out in the Daytona 500 with the aero and engine package that these cars have, you're able to keep the car a little bit freer in that second lane. And if you can get organized and stay organized and have the pushing help that the 23 is given the 44, that second lane is going to dominate. But right now, they're not as organized as they should be quite yet.
And I think it's just kind of a matter of people not realizing that that outside lane will work out later in the race, or even right now. It's just got to have trust into the guy leading that line. Right now it is 74 leading that lane of Tim Trowbridge. And, just these drivers got to have trust in him to lead that lane, and just have trust about the drivers around you as well.
Well, the biggest thing is you've got to stay in line. Yes, I can understand peeking out a little bit to get some clean air to the radiator, but you have to hold your line as the leader. Drive out the windshield, not out the rear view mirror. As right now, the 37 of Swigett giving Trowbridge a good shove. Trowbridge is going to lead his first lap tonight, and they have the clear to the low line, but it looks like they are going to stay playing both halves against the middle right now. Nope, back down to the low line they go.
And great move out of Trowbridge and Swigett to get to the bottom. But again, I'm kind of surprised to see them go down there. Would think that they would rather be up top.
Yeah, I mean, you had a good thing going on that top side. Make the low line work against you. Make them have to make those tough decisions and calls to, hey, I've got to back out. Next guy in line has to take over the pushing duties. One of those situations. And right now, that top lane is starting to struggle as they don't have the numbers that they quite need to make it effective. Swigett and Trowbridge are going to swing up to the top side now, as that is just a gaggle of angry hornets behind them.
And Swigett just kind of got left out to dry there with that move. But Swigett is going to be, now stuck in the middle. It looked like he was going to be the first car on that outside lane, which is really just kind of dying out.
Nobody wants to play with him tonight. And that's kind of surprising. Because right now, Trowbridge continues to show the way at the front. They're 3 wide behind them, though. That's right around 14th spot. I see... the numbers aren't right.
With Leo Bonacasa on the bottom.
There we
And,
go. There he is. Sorry, my timing and scoring threw up on me for a second there. And we do have a couple of distinct groups forming here, as we're going to check back with the second group being led by Raymond Root. RJ kind of struggling here early on, as he does have a lot of help from Joe Stafford. As we saw last week, the two of them were able to work wonders trying to make their way towards the front of the field all night long.
And last week, I didn't actually get to see the race last week that we had, but I did see that Joe Stafford absolutely dominated the race and didn't even win.
Yes, for the second week in a row. Led the most laps, did not win. And I'm sure he'd love to get that monkey off his back here tonight at Talladega, as that group being led by RJ Root, they are closing in on that front pack. Or at least the next pack, as there's a gap starting to form. Throw a blanket over your top 7, and then you're over a second and a half back to Chad Sanner in the 59, currently sitting in the number 8 spot, which is right there.
Seems so everybody's kind of riding single file at the moment. Long race, 94 laps, 250 miles, of course, and we are on lap 9, coming to lap 10. So these drivers, they just want to take care of their car. They know they've got a long race to go still.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to check in with our good friend in the 21, Mr. Dave Regal, as we are... Where is it? There it is. We put a GoPro on Dave's helmet before we went live. So this is exactly what he's seeing right now.
If you heard that, you think Daytona Talladega is just full throttle, but if you kind of heard that there a little bit, his engine wasn't quite up to the sound of what it is now. Like, he's full throttle right now, but he was off a little bit. Ultimately, that's going to save some fuel, which could be huge if this race stays green.
Yeah, and you can hear him burping out of the throttle so he doesn't get into 27 of J.C. Gibson, because you don't want to be the guy pushing the pusher, because you've got zero air getting to the rear spoiler of the guy in the middle of a three-car draft. So you don't want to push the pusher, because you're bringing out a caution if you do.
And it could end up being huge as well if you do end up doing that and causing a caution. And that would be what we call the big one. So don't want to cause the big one. Don't want to be a part of the big one. Just hope that you keep your nose clean and be there when it matters at the end.
Absolutely. As we still have an 8-car breakaway at the front of this thing. Chad Sanner is the caboose there in the 59. And I know we are seeing the 00. That's Kavaja Holt, who is a lap down after looks like he elected to pit start. Brad Gunn doing the same in the 36. So Holt praying for a caution here right now, as we are going to look back to this next group being led by the 45 of Leo Bonacasa. Nolan Hodgson working with him right now, pushing the daylights out of him, trying to just pull that group back into contention. But that front 8 They are as organized as you're going to find a group right now, and they are steadily pulling away from the second pack.
You see there, Nolan Hodson pushing Leo Bonacasa. They're actually teammates out of 2311 Racing. So they have chemistry together. They have the team communications going on right now through their Discord channel. That there's a lot of trust going on between Leo and Nolan at that moment.
Not sure why they swung up to go straddle that that dotted line going down the back straightaway, as that move right there cost them almost half a second.
You know, I think what would be a smart move to do, and we've talked about it just not too long ago, is for the 45 and everybody else behind Leo Bonacasa in the 45 to move up high. And the race I was doing earlier, you know, we weren't up against that wall. We were actually towards the middle lane.
Right.
And kind of riding around there. So you don't even have to be right up there at the top. You can get it done riding in between the middle.
You wanted to be right about where RJ Root is right now.
See some guys in the back led by, yeah, Joe Stafford leading that lane. Maybe he'll be able to get these guys to go up and lead this pack up there. See somebody else. It's going to be Alex Murray.
So Murray sees what's going on. It might have a live spotter. I'm not 100% certain on that. But, you know, definitely able to make something happen. They're going to have to get back single file as quickly as possible if they want to reel in that front 8.
Yes, right now all that energy is going to the outside as that inside lane is slowly starting to die out and just kind of work its way up there. Unfortunately for the likes of Leo and Nolan, they're still stuck on the bottom. Actually, Alex Murray and Stafford go down to the bottom for a moment. They go right back up in front of the 8 of Raymond Root.
Yeah, absolutely. They got Dalton Mobley right there with them, and they go right back down to the low side, and it boggles my mind why. They say if something doesn't work and you keep doing it, they call that insanity.
And I think it goes back to having that trust. These guys, they do race each other every single week. And I'm sure there is trust there. But is somebody like Root or Mobley, are they going to trust Stafford and Murray to stay up there, not have any issues? And, you know, can Stafford and Murray trust the guys behind not to pull down and kind of leave them out to dry on the top?
Well, from what I saw last week, and it was my first SNN race last week, Dave was in the booth with me. What I saw, Joe Stafford and Raymond Root are very like-minded individuals, and I'm sure wherever one goes, the other is going to go with them, just out of that pure trust factor.
Yeah, and Root and Murray are teammates. Stafford is the reigning champ of the series, won the championship last year. And Murray and Root have just dominated.
Whoa,
this
what happened to
so
the 54?
Far. Yeah, I saw that too. Oh man, Nolan Hodson.
Oh, he got hit by the 79 and sent through the grass.
I'm wondering there if I believe that was Gaskins. Yeah, Gaskins. I'm wondering if Gaskins just didn't have or had a big run and didn't pull out soon enough, and that's what ultimately caused that.
It's kind of what it looked like from up here, but we are going to go back live. And as we are back live. Oi!
Leo Bonacasa hard in the wall. That brings out the first caution.
Let's watch that again. Let me get the camera angle right here. Just a bump draft gone wrong. You don't push the pusher. Ever.
Man, I think there's a whole lot of guys that just lucked out of that. Because Leo was just back and forth between and spinning a lot there, doing a ton of 360s.
Yeah.
So a lot of these drivers are lucky they didn't get caught up in that. Very unfortunate for both Hodgson and Bonacasas. They were working together for the beginning parts of this race.
Well, this is what the chopper saw. And you can see 35 just gets into... He just Brad Keselowski'd him, plain and simple. Just got into the right rear bumper. Didn't hit him flush, and just up the track he went. And there's our first, thank God this is a simulator moment of the night.
Absolutely. Because if this was real, that would have been a very Leo.
Absolutely. As we're going to take this time to mention our good friends over at Davis Brothers Roofing. Established in 1983, Davis Brothers Roofing has been providing homeowners and businesses with exceptional roofing since '83. So for all your roofing needs, you need to contact DBR. As we are under caution number 1, 20 laps in, I would expect to see wholesale pit stops right here. And just as expected, everybody coming down pit road.
So I'm wondering what the strategy is here for a lot of these guys. Again, going back to my race from earlier, tire wear is like non-existent. And I mean, obviously they got to pit for fuel. We did mention the 75% fuel. Oh, Austin Story. Maybe a little loose there on exit of the pit road, but yeah, 75% fuel cap. That doesn't affect the tires at all. So tires, I imagine a lot of these guys still had 100% on their tires, no wear at all.
Well, from the looks of it, lefts in fuel for the vast majority of the field. As Decker missed his pit box, just came down pit road and just never stopped. And what happened with Charles Eaton? What did happen with Charles Eaton?
I'm not exactly sure either.
It looks like he got the blinky so bad, SDK thought he was having a crash. So Decker, the man that spun the 45, is actually leading this piece right now as he drops down below the mustard line. Whether or not he comes to pit road, that's a different story. And he is going to come down this time, so that's going to hand the lead of the race back over to Tim Trowbridge in the 74. Jeremy Miller, Austin Story, Josh Ward, Alex Princeton, Raymond Root, Chad Sanner, Joe Stafford, Nicholas Breidenbach, and Alex Murray rounding out your top 10 as the lights go out on the iRacing pace car.
You know, tonight is going to be all about getting hooked up with your teammates. And two guys I want to point out, the other two from 2311 Racing is Austin Story and Alex Princeton, the 23 and the 19, second and third on that bottom lane. Those two, again, a lot of chemistry between the two. And I think they're going to be a couple to watch out for here on this restart.
Well, on the initial restart, we saw Trowbridge and Miller get hooked up, and that duo seemed to work quite well in maintaining speed. But the biggest difference is, right now, Joe Stafford is up there, up 16 from where he started. RJ Root sitting in the 6th spot, up 9 from where he started. You can see him third car there on the outside lane in that Melling Coors car. So, little different dynamic at the front of this piece right now.
Yeah, and this is one of those tracks where you'll just see drivers continuously shuffling around like a carousel. Some drivers, they'll work their way up to the front, go to the back to the front, back to the back. It's just all about how you play this puzzle. And if you could stay up front, you're probably in a good have a good shot at the end to be able to win this race. If you get caught in the back and a wreck happens, you could be in some big trouble.
Yeah, absolutely. But the worst thing that could happen is for it to pop off at the front of the field and take everybody with them. As the pace car drops down below the mustard line, Josh, why don't you get us going in?
Going to be on Trowbridge to get the loud pedal down. I expect him to wait till the green flag. Talladega is kind of one of those tracks, so waiting all this time. They're about to get it. Tim Trowbridge on the loud pedal. And a great jump out of him as well.
I think he got too big of a jump. And nope, there it is. He's picking up the 44 of Miller on that second lane. Maybe they've been listening to the broadcast and hearing us preach that the second lane is where you want to be. As right now they're up there with the ace of Josh Ward and the 8 of RJ Root.
And Josh Ward looking to the bottom. That's going to bring Miller and Trowbridge down to the bottom lane. So there goes that high line, trying to get that to work. I want to know who's going to be the first one to really get that to work.
Well, right now it looks like it's going to be the 40 of Alex Murray, as he's the first car on that outside lane. No real help to speak of right now, as he's running side by side with the 19 of Alex Primson.
Right now, just losing a bunch. Just losing a bunch of time. You saw the 8 of Raymond Root pull out a line there, but got right back down to the bottom. Didn't see anything behind him that he liked, so figured it was just safe to stay on the bottom for right now.
Nobody was going with him. You know, and that's the problem.
Austin Story kind of poked his nose out there a little bit, but tucked back into line. Could have been just a little bit of push off of turn 2 down the backstretch, which may have caused 23 to go out there. I don't think Raymond Root had a push off the exit, and that's why he went out. Side, you see him kind of stay down there that time.
Yeah, absolutely. Is, you know, it's second verse, same as the first, as we do have a breakaway. Throw a blanket over your top 17 this time, as you're over 2 seconds back to 12 of Brad Manito and Kevin Rourke in the 99 as they go side by side. And that's not something you really want to be doing when you're already losing time. You're crazy to try to run side by side like that. I mean, if you're trying to make something happen, make sure you've got somebody that can go with you.
Yeah, it's all about the help in generating the runs. Who has momentum to be able to get to get to the front of a line, or even in this case, just try to catch the guys in front, catch that pack up front.
Well, it looks like our compatriot Dave Regal gonna have the momentum on the high side. He's got the help from Jeff Carson, trying to get that second lane organized, and you can see the amount of speed they're able to carry if they stay up there, and of course they don't. Thanks, Dave.
You see there, I'm not sure who that is in the middle. The three, Jeff Carson kind of got hung out to dry there. He finds a spot on the bottom.
Absolutely, as we're back towards the front of this piece, as Jared Phillip, last time by, in the 87, had set the fastest lap of the race with a 49.22. And that second lane in this front pack, starting to get some organization to them, starting to get some numbers up there. We might see that second lane start to come in as long as people trust the process.
Yeah, so here we got, is that Mobley leading the outside lane. When he gets up there to Tim Trowbridge leading the race in the bottom lane, is Mobley going to pull down to the bottom, or is he going to stay on the outside? Personally, I think the best option is for him to stay on the outside with everybody out there. Saw one car kind of drop down into the bottom, so now you only got 5 cars out there. But if he's able to make this thing work, get up there by Trowbridge and stay running on that outside lane, is that going to be where we start to see this outside lane really make the noise tonight?
They're going to have to do it sooner or later because they are running out of time. We're working lap 28 of 94. You are watching the Tricia's Hope 250 from Talladega on the Esports Broadcasting Network, a sim racing media company. Tony Trapasso and Josh. One more time with your last name, Josh, because I don't want to butcher it.
It's all right. Coppernol.
In the booth. First time we've had a chance to work together, Josh, and we need to do this more often.
Yeah, I enjoy calling these races, and it's been a blast so far being in the booth with you.
Well, this is only my second race with the series, and I was nothing but impressed last week with what I saw.
Yeah, I'm not a stranger to SNN. I'm newer at commentating SNN. I think this may be only the 4th race I've ever commentated for this series, but I'm no stranger to the series. I used to race in it back in 2020, and then my work schedule got in the way, so I wasn't really racing in the series, but then I started spotting actually Austin Story, driver in 6th place, and start off the season being his spotter until finally getting called to the booth at Coda a few races ago.
Absolutely, and talk about a trial by fire. Coda is definitely not the track you want to cut your teeth on as a broadcaster. As the second group back here that is over 7 seconds back from the lead 16, they're even more disorganized now than they were before.
Yeah, this is everything the main pack, the lead pack, wants to hear, is that these guys are just racing each other so hard. They are very unorganized. I see a lot of just these cars bobbling, getting super loose, sideways, weaving in and out. This is everything that if I'm in that lead pack, I want to hear, because it's just going to make me stay even that much more calmer if I'm in that lead pack.
Just from the exit of turn 4 to the middle of the back straightaway, they have dropped a full second on that lead 16.
So it's something that these guys here have to take note of. They've got to get organized, and I know that's easier said than done, especially when you are running too wide like this. You don't just, if you're that outside lane, you don't just want to lose all those positions and get tucked in behind, you want to try positions down there. But here it looks like they're going to start to make a third lane on the outside.
Well, when I first flashed to them, they were making a third lane up there. And that's never a good idea. Yes, you can do it at Talladega. Yes, we've seen it done effectively at Talladega. But you don't want to do it this early at Talladega.
Especially knowing that you are losing so much time to the lead pack. We're not guaranteed another caution. We weren't even guaranteed the first caution. We know these guys can race cleanly. And we could see this thing go green the rest of the way. Oh, and as I say that,
Regal's in trouble.
I don't know if that's what you call a commentator's curse or not, but
yes,
man,
it is.
Dave Regal, hard hit.
And there you can see Regal is the second car in the outside lane as we go to the replay here. Just... man, that was a shot.
So, once again, I'm going to compare the race I did earlier today. You may think, how can you spin at a track like this? It kind of seems so easy. And, yeah, really, Talladega is just kind of, driving full time, maybe lifting a bit to the left. There's not really much to it, as far as driving the track. But, ultimately, I did the exact same thing earlier. What it was you see him just get a little bit too high, the air push got him, and it sent him around. And, for Regal, very unfortunate, and I know exactly how he's feeling because that is exactly how I ended my race earlier today.
And we're going to watch it from Decker's point of view now from the chopper cam. There goes Regal, there goes Decker, there goes the 84. Oy. There go a lot of torn up race cars. Now, you guys don't have a fast repair, correct?
No, there is no fast repair.
Well then, we've got a lot of torn up race cars. I wouldn't quite call it the big one, but it definitely was not a small one. And
for a lot of these drivers, you may think that you're out, but if you didn't really get too much damage in that race, or that wreck there, get your damage fixed, just run laps, because you could pick up some positions. Again, we're not guaranteed another caution, but there's still a ton of racing to go, like 60 laps at this point. You have no idea what's going to happen. Just turn laps, and you could gain a lot of positions.
Well, because of not knowing when we're going to get another caution, looks like we are getting wholesale pit stops. I would expect fuel and tires this time, being as, we are 34 laps into this tire run, and I made a liar of again. Timmy Trowbridge winning the battle off pit road. Jeremy Miller, RJ Root, Josh Ward, Alex Murray, Alex Princeton, Joe Stafford, Swigett, Mobley, and Sanner rounding out your top 10. Looks like William Fink in the 93 may have gotten his lap back.
Yeah, I'm thinking that is the case. Or maybe he stayed out here.
Well, he definitely stayed out, but you're almost a sitting duck with only 75% fuel fill if you do stay out.
William Fink maybe banking on another caution here pretty soon.
What did they say down south? Bless your heart.
I'm not from the South, but I do believe that is what they say.
Checking in with those of you in the live chat, thank you for joining us. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button, share this video around. Every thumbs up really helps with the YouTube algorithm to help make this video appear on news feeds for everybody when they log into the YouTube servers. Also, if you haven't done so already, hit the subscribe button and turn on bell notifications so you don't miss a single moment of action this week here on the Esports Broadcasting Network, as you're currently watching the nightcap of a quadruple header that started at 3:30 this afternoon Eastern Time with the ISNF or IFL IF1 series, as they did the Belgian Grand Prix from Spa-Francorchamps. The ISNF Cup Series just wrapped up with round 15 at Worldwide Tech at Gateway. The fired up Esports League, they're in round 1 of their playoffs at Circuit of the Americas. And then tomorrow night, we have the, or do we? Ignore the man behind the curtain. Tomorrow night we have the CleanRacing.net Cup Series. That'll be an 8:20 Eastern Time start for that. And then Tuesday night we have another quadruple header with the Night Shift Racing League Round 6 from Las Vegas, the AARL Truckers Feed America Cup Series at 7:20 Eastern. The Night Shift Racing League starts at 11:50 a.m. Eastern Time. And then the nightcap is going to be the Western States Racing League Round 15 from Michigan. So a ton of racing just in the next couple of days here on the Esports Broadcasting Network, as we get ready to come back to green here. Looks like Will Fink is going to have the button as the field works its way out of turn 4. Pace car drops below the mustard line, and here comes the field into the tri-oval portion of this 2.62 mile Talladega Superspeedway. And Fink is going way early.
Green flag, green flag.
That
On a short track, that works. On a Talladega Superspeedway, you're a sitting duck.
Fortunately for him, Jeremy Miller was right there with him, so William Fink didn't really get a huge advantage on that, but it did allow everybody to get all single file. Now,
Yeah,
you
he's a
see
sitting
Jeremy
duck
Miller
now.
and everybody else going to that top.
Na 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 na. Hey hey hey. Goodbye. As Miller, Timmy Trillbridge, and Raymond Root all jumping up to go to that top side. Now down on the low side, making something happen, is there is a monster gap already forming, as you're a second and a half from the 93 of Fink, who was leading when the green flag came out. He's now back in ninth. And then you're a second and a half back to the second group, led by J.C. Gibson, as they are doing what they can to try to reel those guys in front of them. They're starting to reel Fink in, but not at the pace they're going to need to be.
So once again, going to talk about teammates here. J.C. Gibson and Nicholas Breidbach, teammates out of Propel. They're also good friends and kind of an alliance with the 2311. Story right there in the middle. So these guys, once again, all know each other very well, working together, and maybe they're able to get back up there.
Well, they're definitely closing that gap up ever so slightly.
they're definitely formed pretty well there in that second pack we're watching here. J.C. Gibson liking the way he sees behind him.
And he's got to be liking what he sees in front of him, too, as they've cut what was a second and a half down to now a second and a quarter from Fink to Gibson. As a little bit of a four-car tango at the front of this second pack. Chris Stewart in the... What? Oh, that's Jarrett Phillips, sorry, in the 87. Is going to get shuffled out, unfortunately. You snooze, you lose, as Dalton Mobley forces him to the outside lane.
Mobley saw the hole and took it. Didn't want to mess around. Just wanted to stay single file and gain a position while he was at it. So everybody back tucked in.
Everybody back tucked in, and they've cut another tenth out of that gap between the second pack and the first pack. And then they've got a three and a quarter second gap from Chris Claude in 22nd back to Noah Hodgson in 23rd.
And I think that group led by Nolan Hodgson is not the group you want to be in right now.
No, it's definitely not. As a matter of fact, it's actually led by Chris Claude in the 10. Jeff Carson is the caboose in that second group. This third group is just out to lunch right now. We're going to check back up with the front runners. As we're working lap 42 of 94, and you can see that second group get ever closer. Now the question is, are they going to catch this front group with enough momentum to make something happen on the second lane? And as the field comes up to put another lap on the 45 of Leo Bonacasa, that was just a tough break for Leo tonight.
Definitely tough for Leo, but still out there, still running laps, trying to gain everything he possibly can. Go back to your question, that group led by J.C. Gibson, I think they do pull to the outside.
I mean, at this point, you've got to try it. I mean, what's the worst that could happen? You know, the lane stalls out, you fall back behind this lead group. As that is Dave Regal's very wounded Yingling Brewery car that they are flashing by.
And really, you don't have to, if you are going to run that outside lane and be in the middle, you don't look at all the room between the middle lane and where they're running at on the bottom, led by Jeremy Miller. You don't have to be right there, right on the door of these drivers on the inside lane. You can run about...
You don't want to be that close because you're putting an awful lot of trust in netcode, and netcode is never your friend.
Absolutely, in iRacing. Netcode, to kind of explain what that is a little bit, it's where it's kind of like a bubble, if you will. You could wreck somebody on their end, and on your end, they just kind of lost it without you even touching them.
It's a glitch in the matrix, basically, where your internet connection talking to the main server in Boston and their internet connection talking to the main server in Boston, they say that your cars are trying to take up the same moment of the space-time continuum in the simulator, And the simulator's programmed that, standard physics, two solid objects cannot occupy the same moment of the space-time continuum. It just can't happen. And because of that, you have netcode crashes, which back in the old papyrus days, before there was iRacing, and we had dial-up internet, on a 56K modem, netcode was horrendous at times.
Yeah, I want to do this, but I'm not sure how many of our viewers will know what dial-up internet is.
Okay, so for you Gen Z and millennials, dial-up internet, it was before we had Ethernet connections sticking out of the wall. You actually had to have a separate phone line, or else you would hear the most just diabolical electronic screech through your phone if you picked the receiver up and somebody was logged into the internet at your house.
And it was not the speeds like what we have today.
Go watch the movie Hackers if you want an idea of what we're talking about when we say dial-up internet. There was ways that you could plug a laptop into a payphone. Meanwhile, back on track, Timmy Trowbridge back to the point, as he and Jeremy Miller swapped spots. RJ Root was kind enough to let Miller come back in, as this front group is just riding right now. They're not really racing, they're just churning laps and logging laps, as we are inside 50 to go.
One thing that surprises me is the fact that JC Gibson is no longer leading that second group. It is led by Austin Story, so kind of like what we saw up front with the 74 Trowbridge and the 44 of Miller swapping positions, the 24 of Breidenbach and 23 Austin Story swap positions. Or rather, no, Breidenbach was sitting there in the third spot. JC Gibson was the one that was leading, who is fourth in line in that purple Toyota there.
Yes, he is, as these guys are doing everything they can to try to reel in that front pack. The only problem is when they did swap spots like that, they gave up over 2.5 seconds more to...
Hard in the wall, Chad Sanner. We stay green, though.
Let's go back and take a look at what happened to Chad here.
He got hooked.
Ouch. Yeah, and that was a shot into that safer barrier going into the tri-oval.
I don't know how he hit that outside wall and then got it back going straight.
Sheer determination. And he was off the throttle when he hit. So we are going to go back live.
That wasn't a save by any means, but that was a great save, if you will. Just for him to be able to do that. Get back going straight. Minimal damage. He did hit that wall pretty hard, so it will affect him, but that could have been a lot worse than what it was.
Oh, very much so. As the second group was bearing down on him, and everybody was heads up to make sure that they didn't just flat run him over. As we're watching the second chase group, as they're now 4 seconds to the rears of the 57 of Joe Stafford, who is the caboose in that lead 8 pack up in front of this piece. So we got Timmy Trowbridge, Jeremy Miller, RJ Root, Alex Murray, Josh Ward, Princeton, Swigett, and Stafford all the lead lap cars in that front pack right now. And that's about as organized as we've seen a group here tonight. They're working very well together at the front of this piece.
Yeah, and it goes back to they know each other very well. Again, this is a 36-week league. They run with each other every single week. They know each other's racecrafts, and we only visit these super speedways 4 times a year, but they are used to each other and each other's racecrafts.
Yeah, absolutely. And we saw a lot of that racecraft on talent last week as we went to Bristol Dirt. And, I mean, what an introduction to this league that I was able to get. Being the resident dirt guy, along with James Riles, he and I are the two that are just clamoring for a dirt league to come our way. And to see it run last week, a lot of people thought that there was going to be issues. There weren't anywhere near the number of issues that they had in the real world dirt race at Bristol.
And that's just the talent of these drivers. We've only seen a couple cautions tonight, and these guys are, racing at one of the tracks you'd expect a lot of cautions, Talladega. But it just, these guys are so talented. They kind of can predict everybody's moves, if you will. Kind of know, what driver is going to do what. Who do you want to be around? Who's someone that you don't necessarily want to be around? They learn each other's racecrafts. And dirt, probably one of the hardest. I know if I was out there, I would have had a ton of issues. Not a dirt racer by any means, and especially with these cup cars, which were not made for dirt, really. They were made for asphalt, this kind of racing, or road courses like what we saw at Coda.
Well, like I mentioned with Dave last week, it's the first time I've ever actually seen an independent rear suspension car be effective on a dirt track.
Absolutely, Tony.
Because 99% of the time, everybody's running a live straight axle in the rear, most of the time with a spool instead of an open differential. So there's two things that these cars have that 99% of the dirt cars out there don't have, because even if you have, and I'm using air quotes here, a stock rear suspension on the car, you're going to open up that pumpkin and you're going to weld the spider gears together so that they are completely locked, so that the right rear is turning the same as the left rear, and it's so much easier to get through the corners that way.
It's all crazy, the science that goes behind building these race cars, and like these cars here, they have a rear diffuser. See, riding on this view right here, see that right on the bottom of the 44, that little black piece on the bottom, it's the rear diffuser. I know beforehand in real NASCAR, a lot of people were talking about that diffuser having a lot of dirt get up in it, causing a ton of issues.
Well, they seem to have solved most of that problem with them closing the... And here comes RJ Root to the high side.
RJ Root, Alex Murray.
He was getting the daylight shoved out of him there. But, with them closing off the floor of this car, there is a single piece that runs from the front splitter all the way back to that diffuser to keep all the debris out of it. And effectively, you're doing what Formula One did back in the 70s with the Lotus 79 debuting it and having ground effects on the car, where you're using that underbody aero. There's still air getting under this car, and you can see the kind of lip there in the splitter. Well, now you can't. You just see the radiator. But you can see that lip there in the front splitter. That's allowing air to get under that car, and it's creating a vacuum to suck the car into the track. That diffuser plays a huge part in that. And if you hit it too hard, like Alex is doing to RJ right now, oh boy. Stage break. Or not. No, that wasn't. That was the 51 and the 67 going for a ride.
John Buwalda, 51.
And Jad Khalif. Looks like Buwalda was trying to get low and Khalif was closing the door. And now we have two more torn up race cars.
Unfortunate for those guys.
Tony, I'm not going to lie. It looks almost like the 51 had a little bit of netcode going on.
That sounds like my normal partner in crime, Mr. David Regal.
Hiya, fella.
So you're out of the infield care center, my friend.
Yeah, went through the concussion protocol. It turns out I'm still crazy.
You know, we knew that coming into the race.
And race control is definitely calling a little bit of netcode on the 51.
Fair enough. As we are under our third caution of the night, I would expect to see wholesale pit stops here coming up again, as we're right around that window where we would expect to see everybody come down for at least fuel. I would, and Dave, you can confirm this or not. How bad is tires right now?
Honestly, not bad at all. After about 40 laps, still at 100%. Basically, the thing that's interesting right now is the wind is pushing these cars around here like crazy.
Take a quick look at the weather conditions as they sit right now. 80-degree air temperature, 117-degree track temperature, 9-mile-an-hour winds gusting to 12.
Yeah, and those gusts are definitely pushing these next-gen cars, which are, very aero-dependent, all over the track.
They have their hands full, that's for sure. I think we have a little bit of contact on pit road with some drivers, but mostly everybody's keeping it clean. Alex Murray going to be the first one out of pit road.
Looks like 2 in fuel for everybody. The question is, do they take rights or lefts? I mean, common practice would tell you they would take lefts to try to get gravity fed more or gravity feed more fuel into the fuel system, because you get the filler neck being the highest point when you jack the left side of the car up. You can pack another half gallon to full gallon into that filler neck, and the other thing it'll do is it'll tighten the car up if you take lefts. It loosens the car up if you take rights only. And with as loose as most of these cars are looking tonight, Dave, I dare say that lefts are going to be advantageous.
Absolutely. One of the things that is continually brought up all night long on race radio is, cars cracking loose without any warning whatsoever. And, the story is no different for probably a good 10 to 15 drivers.
I mean, like you did.
Yeah, that's the one.
I believe the phrase we normally use is snap, see ya, bye.
That was exactly it, and full-on code brown.
Understandably so. Oh, good grief.
You're having a busy day today, Tony.
Yeah, this is my third race of the night.
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the hardest working man in sim racing sports.
Tell you what, though,
I try.
I don't think those other broadcasts have slowed him down any. Definitely having a blast up here with you.
Yeah, Josh, that was your first time getting to hear me calling a race to green.
Yeah, I was not expecting that.
Oh, well, you know, maybe next time you should check out some film. It's an experience.
You get used to it. Just ask Dave.
I wear a helmet.
After I heard that, I'm going to be honest, I was thinking, man, I need some kind of cool phrase to lead to green.
Wait till you hear how I close the show. Oh, good grief. As the lights go out on the official iRacing pace car, Josh Ward, Alex Murray, Steve Giberson, Warren Young, Joe Stafford, Timmy Trilbridge, Jeremy Miller, Alex Princeton, Austin Story, and Swigett. Dave, help me out here.
Where you at?
Who's in 10th?
Stand by.
Looks like
Nicholas
Timothy.
Breidenbach in the number 24 Chevrolet.
In 10th?
Hang on, we're not going green.
That's what iRacing is showing me.
I got
I'm
Swigett.
seeing it's Swigett. I'm a little confused what's going on up front, though.
They're very... Listen, they were just 3 wide sitting up front for reasons I can't quite explain. The 60 car is on the apron.
I'm not sure where Warren Young came from.
And race radio is a salad bowl of confusion.
Okay, Alex Murray won the battle off pit road. There shouldn't be anyone in front of him because the entire field pit.
Race control sorting it out.
And we thank Race Control for being Race Control tonight. So without them, I would pull out what little is left of my hair.
It's fine. It's great.
Yes, it is gray.
Right now, it looks like Steve Giberson shuffling all the way back, and now Nicholas Breidenbach in the number 24 going to be having to let some other cars by as iRacing's timing and scoring is all a kerfuffle.
I believe the kids refer to that as borked.
All right, fair enough. And they're trying to clear the black flags.
I guess I'm in the wrong generation because I've not heard either of those.
Tony Trapasso is on the cutting edge of all that is cool.
Far from it.
Did we talk about dial-up internet yet?
Yes.
Oh, good segment.
Yeah, I threw him under the bus there.
Yeah. Appreciate it.
Kind of before my time as well, but I know it.
You darn kids, get off my lawn. Oh, wait, I don't have a lawn. I live in an apartment.
They have a lawn here in Talladega. Big lawn.
They got a big party place.
You know, Dave, something we didn't get to mention last week. In tonight's trivia question, what year was the pace car stolen at Talladega?
Oh, man.
And that is
I don't know.
tonight's trivia question. Let us know in the live chat what your answer is to that one. Again, what year was the pace car stolen at Talladega?
I actually don't know, and I should. I know a lot of NASCAR facts. I have an idea, though.
Well, we are about to go green as the pace car drops down below the mustard line one more time. Alex Murray has the button. Josh Ward to his outside. He's got Joe Stafford right behind him, so he's in good hands no matter which lane he goes into. The field works its way into the restart zone. And Murray pulls the trigger a little early.
Green flag.
I think it caught everybody by surprise, except that outside lane, which got a pretty decent jump there. Joe Stafford going to have to shuffle in from, looks like, 5th place.
Well, the fact that Murray didn't just pull the trigger, he jumped on that loud pedal. He's a sitting duck right now. As here comes Tim Trowbridge to the inside. He's got Jeremy Miller pushing the daylights out of him, and they've got Joe Stafford for backup. And then they go back up to the outside lane.
Stafford looking to get into line behind Alex Murray can't, and Josh Ward blowing the doors off of him yet, going into turn 3 and 4.
Stafford doesn't have to get in line on the outside because they all got in line to the inside in front of Stafford. Stafford now the 6th place car in line with a couple of 2311 drivers behind him in Alex Brinson and Austin Story.
And, you know, Dave, this is something that we were talking about all night long, and you can confirm or deny this. That second lane frees this car up so much more to carry so much more RPM down the straightaways. I cannot for the life of me understand why this lead pack of cars is not above that first mayonnaise dotted line.
Well, to be completely honest, that low line right now, everybody is basically just used to being down there. When you're forced up to the high side, it loosens the car up, and I think that these drivers here are just trying to be a little bit more stable, especially as we're only at lap 65. So maybe stability here along the yellow line so that you're not so loose there in the upper.
Fair enough, but we heard during the real world Daytona 500 that lower lane seems to bog this car down, whereas you can carry more RPM in that second lane.
Yeah, you can definitely run a lot faster in the second lane as far as RPMs go, but lap 65, so you're looking at trying to save fuel. I mean, we're going to lap 94. And it's about a 30-lap 30-lap fuel window. So maybe try to bog down and stay, on fuel conservation mode.
Yeah, but I would almost think that with it bogging down like that, to re-accelerate, you're going to burn more fuel than if you keep it constantly at 9,500 RPM.
Fair enough. Good point. Right now, Timmy Trowbridge just the Pied Piper of Talladega.
Go ahead, Josh.
I was going to say, I think it all goes back to that science, and how these races play out. It's a science in, getting these cars built, set up, open setups, of course, for SNN. But science as far as how these cars run as well on the track. So, racing isn't just go faster and left. Unless if you're at road course, in which case go faster and left and right. It's not all that. It's how do you enter the corners. Daytona, Talladega, a little bit different as you're not really getting off the gas to enter the corners. But, there's so much more to racing than just what it looks like. I'm not sure, Tony, how much experience you have on racing as a driver. Or Dave, for that matter, how much you have as well. Obviously, we saw you out there. I've been on iRacing myself, racing since 2016.
I got 2 years on you, Junior.
So, it's all the science going back to how you drive these cars.
Absolutely, and one of the things here is when you're coming out of turn 2, the car naturally wants to try to drag you up into that second lane, and it's almost too crazy trying to stay against the yellow line, but somehow these drivers manage to do it and stay in line. As we're single file through about 10 cars, all the way back to Breidenbach and Jeff Carson and the number 3 Napa Auto Parts Toyota.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, it's the usual suspects up at the front of this thing. We've seen these guys all race long up here.
19 cars in this lead string.
And the vast majority of them have been in this lead string since the drop of the initial green on lap 1. With a couple of exceptions, the most notable ones being Stafford and well, I was going to say RJ Root, but what the heck happened to RJ?
I guess I didn't even click to me either that he's not up there.
RJ currently pushing the 31.
A lap down. Did RJ get popped for speeding off?
Doesn't look like he has any damage on that car. Maybe, nope. My eyes were deceiving me. I thought maybe he had a little bit of right side damage on the hood. But no, his car looks absolutely clean. So, not even a little bit of a wall rub or anything. So,
and I don't see where he was forced to go back down pit road. That's very odd. Ladies and gentlemen, I am so sorry for missing what happened with the 8 and why he's being shown as the first car a lap or more down. This front pack starting to get more and more unorganized. We're going to see distinct groups start to form up again as, oh, that's not good. Joe Stafford just had a big blink coming out of 2.
Stafford has been about a car length or 2 car lengths behind Swigett. A few laps there, so maybe he knows he's having a little bit of connection issues.
Well, we saw it last week at Bristol. He had, when we were on restarts, and I'm sorry, it's not Stafford, it's Princeton who's having the blinking issues. You know, we saw Stafford be solid as a rock last week at Bristol, where you're probably going to blink before 10 laps into a run. And right now it's Princeton in that M&M's Toyota Camry that is not having a good time of it. And that has backed Brendan Minto off of him, as Minto is now about 8 car lengths to the rears.
Minto probably wanted nothing of it and just kind of backed off. Drivers behind him as well, just kind of creating a gap in case something did happen to Princeton. See him kind of blink a bit there again.
And that's getting worse. Can one of y'all check his...
I'm checking it now.
Thank you. And here comes that second pack.
His
Led by
ping
the
is
12.
100.
Yeah, but what's his quality at?
99. But his ping keeps going up. It's now at 108.
Let me know when it gets into the mid-triple digits. Tim Trowbridge continues to show the way in the 74, being pushed by Jeremy Miller's 44. Up at the front of this piece, Alex Murray, who won the battle off pit road, now sits in third. after getting too good of a restart. He was a sitting duck by the time they got out of turn number 2. And Trowbridge and Miller just blew his doors clean off.
Yeah, I'm starting to see something a little interesting there. I noticed a couple of cars just kind of pull out a little bit there. One of them being Joe Stafford in the 57. Just kind of poking his nose out in the middle of the corner. I think it's just him trying to see what he's got there. 21, coming to 20 laps to go. So this race is winding down. Just not really wanting to make a move right now. Still early, but just maybe see what he's got. See if Princeton behind will kind of check that out with him a little bit. Sometimes it's a good indicator for drivers to know that, hey, the guy behind me is going to go.
Yeah, absolutely. And, the pride of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, currently sitting just outside the top 5 right now. It's not go time yet. It's going to be close on fuel for the guys that haven't been leading this pack. So guys like Jeremy Miller, guys like Tim Trowbridge, I'm not 100% certain if they can actually make it, because they're punching the hole in the air for the rest of the cars to follow through. And we generally refer to that as a fuel pig. And odds on you making it on a fuel mileage race, if you're the fuel pig, slim to none, and Slim's already got his coat on. And the none wants to speak to you in the principal's office.
And Trowbridge, he is kind of banking on a caution happening, as well as Jeremy Miller. Other guys like Murray, Ward, Swigett, Stafford, they've had the opportunity to really lift and not go full throttle. And I think that's how you see the gap between the 57 of Joe Stafford and Swigett in front, 37, is because Stafford is lifting and not trying to go all out right now.
Yeah, because it's not go time yet. It only takes, if you're good at using the draft, it should only take 3 laps for you to get from 10th to 1st, as long as you've got the help. Right now, though, nobody wants to be that guy that's going to jump out of line and show their hand this early.
The 44 is looking to the inside of Tim Trowbridge as Trowbridge drifted up toward that white dotted line here coming out of turn 4.
I think Trowbridge was trying to get up there to help Miller get some cold air to that radiator and help cool him off a little bit, because Miller's been sucked right up to that diffuser on the back of Trowbridge's car for the last 5 laps.
And with this next-gen car here, they don't run tape on the grills anymore. Grill tape is not a thing, so the temps aren't going to rise like what they would have in last year's car. So, yes, even though you have no grill tape, even if you are on the bumper, like what you were just talking about there, Tony, Miller right on Trowbridge's bumper, it's still going to raise the temps, and Miller's still going to have to find some air.
All right, here we go.
Oh,
And that's a yellow.
watch. Oh, my. We're going to have confusion up here on the front stretch.
Let's take a look at what brought this yellow out.
Go to the 73.
The 59 just hand grenaded an engine.
That is very interesting. Jed Sanner.
As we are going to go on the gyro with Sanner. No. He just shifted from 5th to 1st.
I'm so confused.
Not sure why he did that, but definitely a reprieve for Trailbridge and Company, as now they can definitely make it from here. As we should see the entirety of the field go down pit road this time.
And they are all looking.
Absolutely. And there they go. Final fuel stop for everybody. Okay, what happened to Christian Stewart? As I'm showing, Christian had a crash as well.
Christian Stewart went to come down pit road and locked it up as he was trying to bring it back up onto the racing surface.
Yeah, he definitely did. What happened to Carson?
Carson got wrapped up in the aftermath of the 73.
Oh, there it is.
Oh man, almost collecting Nicholas Breidenbach and JC Gibson.
Yeah, he did. Let's take another look at that one. Yeah, he almost got into quite a few cars there. As looks like he was trying to cold trickle everybody. So everybody except the 73 of Stewart came down pit road. We know that Trillbridge, Ward, Miller, Swigett, Murray, Stafford, Princeton, Minto, Story, Mobley, Gibson, Spivey, and Breidenbach can make it from here. Not sure about Christian Stewart.
And it's interesting. We just saw him, of course, spin there. He has some rear end damage. This is going to be an interesting restart if he does stay out. And how is it going to throw off Trowbridge, Miller, Ward, and the rest of them?
Now, hopefully he's learned from others' mistakes. Wow, that car looks just trashed. Looks like he backed into a light pole. But hopefully he's learned from other people's mistakes and doesn't just jump on the loud pedal when he feels like it. Wait for that green, drag the brake, and roll into the gas. And you keep that car behind you glued to your back bumper so they can push you as soon as the green flag comes back out. As the lap car gets released, lights go out on the pace car.
Tony, have you checked for any answers yet for your trivia question?
I have not. And Independent Racing Network, you are correct. It was the 1986 Fire Chicken that Pontiac provided to NASCAR for that season. Some drunk nut decided to just jump in the pace car and delayed the start of the race by over an hour.
I mean, he was probably bored waiting, right?
Alcohol was involved. Get off me.
So I was going to say, when I said I had an idea, because I wasn't 100% sure, I was going to say 89, so I was off by a few years.
Well, it's before both your times, so.
I mean, you know, 86 was a pretty interesting year for NASCAR overall. It's kind of that they were going to more of a corporate kind of look, so you were getting rid of the old guard and the new guard coming in. That was kind of a year of transition.
Yes, it was. And speaking of throwback series, this coming Friday night, we've got a special treat for everybody. as we are going to be digging into the archives and showing you a 1987 race with the Circle B Diecast Rowdy Energy Superspeedway Series.
That'll be a lot of fun.
And we have the old VHS tape tuned up. And,
Did you adjust the tracking?
Oh, no. The tracking knob broke.
Yes. I love seeing the lines in the middle of the screen.
Stand by after this race because I need to show you some things. But pace car is in. Stewart has the button.
Green flag, green flag.
Green flag comes out. He rolls into it. Miller goes with him. Here comes Trowbridge on the high side, getting the daylight shoved out of him by Josh Ward.
Oh, man. Alex Murray and Josh Ward were very squirrely there on that restart. They're lucky they all kept it straight. 13 to go. I think this high line, oh man, I think this high line is really going to stay there this time.
Well, which high line? Because there's a third lane forming up as nobody wants to play with the 73 right now.
No, but take a look at Swigett working the inside of Timmy Trowbridge in the 44. As the 44 going to swing down, this is almost like the Gen 6 cars where you're able to kind of hold off the entire field by just shifting lanes.
Yeah, absolutely. As 12 to go, Jeremy Miller shows the way. Swigett all over his back bumper. Trowbridge and Ward trying to make something happen on the high line. They just don't have the numbers yet.
Surprised to see that outside lane fading back now. We should see it here. Start gaining more momentum and get right back up there battling for the lead with Jeremy Miller.
Well, there's still a few laps left that they're going to have to make these engines live for the next 11 laps, this time across the stripe. So you're not going to see the tandem drafting like we've become accustomed to with this car, as tandem drafting apparently is a thing again. For better or for worse, so be it. But Trowbridge on that high lane trying to make something happen. They're gaining a little bit of numbers up there, and they're gaining ever so slightly, and there we go. Let's take a look at what happened to Sebacorns. Oh.
It's quite a bit of drivers there. Sebacorn has kind of right in the middle of that. Steve Giberson.
That started off the Marty Roberts in the 60.
Take a look at the 55. Yeah, that's the 55 of Marty Roberts.
Yeah, watch what happens here. Keep your eye on the 60. That's the second car in the outside lane behind the Grizzly 55. Watch what happens here.
Oh, that's a bad night if you're the
Boom
55.
Goes the dynamite.
And the 60 just drives off like nothing's even wrong.
Oh, man. Matthew Gaskins, I saw him get turned kind of last second there. So Gaskins thought he was clear of it and just kind of got collected towards the end.
No, and Seba Cornez definitely caught himself a race car to the face to wind up on the inside there.
Yeah, he did. And watch what happens to the 93 here. He's trying to pick his way through it. Oh. Let's watch that again from Fink. This is the onboard. He's slowing down. He's slowing down. He's slowing down. He's slowing down. And just cannot avoid the 55. So let's take a quick look at what happened. Take a look at the bottom of your screen, folks. You'll see that black 55. Watch the 60 behind him. Bink. Bye. And just, here comes insult to injury. Just gets completely annihilated.
Oh, my. I'll say.
Yeah,
That was almost an ARCA break.
That was bad. I mean, Fink was already on the brakes at that point, but the fact that he guessed wrong. That's the only way you can explain that, is he guessed wrong.
I think the biggest winner in that was Chris Claude. He was right in the middle of it, just kind of squeaked on by.
That is a Chris Claude specialty. When you start to watch this league long enough, Josh, you will notice that Chris Claude is Mr. Consistency. He will hit his marks every time. And when a wreck happens, he is usually, if he's nearby, able to just squirt through it.
I mean, they're not wrong.
After 2 years of being in this league, that's one thing that Chris Claude has always mastered. And as they get deeper into the season, especially once you get into, late July and mid-August, Chris is all of a sudden in the playoff picture, and clawing his way up there. And that's when he really turns it on.
And I remember in 2020, actually, I was a competitor in SNN myself for a few races. I didn't race many races. And then actually the championship race broadcasted on a whole other broadcasting network. And Chris Claude was actually in the Final Four of that race. He was one of the championship drivers back in 2020. Now, championship went to Matthew Gaskins, if I remember correctly. It's been a couple of years, so I apologize, but I do believe it was Matthew Gaskins who won the championship. Yeah, Chris Claude, he was one of the championship four drivers.
Well, it's one thing that Benny Parsons used to talk about on the NBC broadcasts. Consistency, consistency, consistency. And even with the current points format, some people get very concerned about, I have to get a win to lock myself in. But, in open setup leagues like this, you usually have the usual suspects up front. You might have the same top five, and everybody just kind of shuffles around from week to week. But so it doesn't leave a whole lot of ground for winless drivers or, consistent top 10 drivers. So what that does is opens up the rest of the standings to those guys who aren't out in the very front every week.
Well, as far as consistency, I got 2 words for you.
Uh-huh.
Ryan Newman.
Hello, Newman.
Ryan Newman finished second in the championship only because he didn't win Miami Homestead that year.
Yeah, and that
he finished
was
second at Miami Homestead.
In that race, I remember watching that live. It was an insane race just to watch and to see Ryan Newman. I mean, he almost pulled what we actually eventually saw Daniel Hemrick do last year in the Xfinity Series. Got his first career win to win the championship. Now, Ryan Newman, of course, had wins already under his belt. He had been in the sport forever, rookie season being in 2002.
But he didn't win that season.
He didn't win that season, and he came so close winning at Homestead and getting the championship, but went to Kevin Harvick. Here we go, going green, 7 to go when we hit the stripe.
Miller, Swigett, Stafford, and Trillbridge, the usual suspects at the front of this piece. As the field works its way into the restart zone, Miller has the button. Stafford's going to go with him.
Green, green, green.
Green flag is out, and we are back underway for what we hope is the final restart. Miller might have gotten too good of a start, though.
So there was really no games played on that restart. Miller, he might, like you said, he might have gotten too good of a restart. And I think it was just everybody else was caught off guard going a little bit later than what we have seen on the other restarts. But Miller going to stay on the bottom here, going to get a push from Stafford. But outside line has momentum, though.
Absolutely. That's Swigett and Trowbridge.
Oh, big wreck. One car around. Sorry, it was only one car. I thought it was going to be a big wreck. There was one car that went around the field.
Still green. Race control didn't throw the caution.
We
Yeah,
are
I'm
still
not-
green. It's Swigett and Miller side by side at the front of this piece. It's Swigett on the high side, Miller on the low side. And can somebody please give me a first name on the 37?
Semi.
Timothy.
Swigett?
Timothy
Timothy
Swigett.
Swigett.
Okay, so 2 Tims.
You know, we were just talking about the setups here in this league, and I mean, you know, open setups on a super speedway not near what they would mean on an intermediate track, but you know, in Sunday Night NASCAR we are open setups, and wow, 3 wide back there with Steve Cornez on the high side, around the 33 and the 54, so some lap cars getting involved in some 3 wide action here. You know, and Tony, you and I call a couple of fixed setup leagues, including Western States, which is Tuesday night. You know, me personally, I think it's more exciting to watch a super speedway on a fixed setup.
It absolutely is, because then you know it's 100% pure driver talent at that point.
Oh.
And we're back under caution.
I believe
Looks like Jarrett
Chris
Phillips.
Claude might have been involved in that.
And yes, Chris Claude was involved in that. As you can see, Jared Phillips got shot up the track there. Let's take a quick look at that again. Keep your eye on the Caterpillar car on the high side. Just gets hooked by Claude, unfortunately, as I don't think either of them realized they were 3 wide at that point.
I'm wondering, did he actually get hooked by Claude, or was he already starting to go around just from being up way high, like what we saw with certain somebody whose name I really don't want to mention at the moment earlier in the race?
I'll tell you what, let's go to the high-speed drone. Here we are. You can see the 87 here. This is from the high-speed drone that we had chasing this field. And it was light contact. There wasn't any malice there. It was just a bump draft gone wrong. As Claude got into the you can see the left rear damage on the 87 and sent both of them down the track, as well as Ken Ron. Absolutely nowhere to go. The 33 caught a race car to the face. Well then, guess what, kids?
Is it true?
You want some overtime?
It's overtime.
I got enough overtime this week.
Phew. Yeah, and it's only Sunday.
Yeah, I know, right?
By the time I get you on Tuesday, you'll sound like, I don't know, Marlon Brando.
Yeah, because I'm doing back-to-back broadcasts on Tuesday.
You're nuts.
You're just now catching on to this fact?
No. I've known it. I
me
just
for 4 months, and you're just now catching on to the fact that I'm a French fry short of a Happy Meal?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. I see. What it is that I lie to myself, and I'm thinking, no, he's fine. It's normal. This is great. And then I catch this disease from you, and next thing you know, I'm doing like 6 days a week.
Well, with me, I've got an excuse for this, and I'm being dead serious when I say this, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a workaholic because I suffer from both anxiety and depression at the same time. and PTSD. Which means if I don't have something to do every second of the day, you don't want to be near me.
I mean, the benefit to that is
I
that
don't
we have
wanna
like
be.
6 days of programming on SRM.
Yes, we do. Yes, we absolutely do. But, you don't want to be near me, and I don't want to be near me. If I don't have something to do every second of every day of the week.
No, I feel you. I absolutely feel you.
So,
I mean, I always look forward to my Tuesdays, and when we get to do the West Coast. Sounds like things might be shifting around too for that, on our end.
I've heard about that.
There's a rumor afoot.
Yes, there is. It's when it's a rumor, a butt, that I need to worry.
That's fair. That is.
Because my butt's bigger than my foot.
Yeah.
That's my ex. I talk out my butt all the time, though.
Well, folks, we are going down a dangerous rabbit hole here as the 44 is going to bring us back around. This is like getting kind of tight up here, Tony. Miller, Stafford, Swigett, Minto,
Thank you.
Trowbridge.
Thank you for cutting that off.
This is what I'm here for. See, folks, for those of you that don't get to hang out with Tony and I very often, Tony gives me my vaudeville hook is always Tony going, "All right then," and I'll just bring us back to the top 5.
Yeah, because what was about to come out of my mouth probably would have gotten me fired.
I'm always ready to come with the top 5.
Taking notes. Taking notes.
Josh, listen, you hang out with us long
you
enough,
gave
you'll
me
be
another
brain dead.
bullet for the chamber. No, people, no.
It's happening.
Well, here we go. First attempt at a green-white checker. Dave, why don't you explain what a green-white checker means?
All right, folks. So basically, what's going to happen is your race leaders here. So right now, Matt Stafford or Joe Stafford and Miller. See, now this is getting weird. Anyway, we're going to come around. We're going to take the green flag. If we make it one complete lap and take the white flag, the next flag, regardless of what happens, will end the race. But between the green flag and the white flag, if something happens that causes the caution to come out, we stop, reset, and do it all over again. And here in Sunday Night NASCAR's Cup Series, we have 5 attempts to get it right.
5?
So plenty of 5. Yes, sir. But you know what?
The
I'm
leader
gonna
has to cross the start-finish line to accept the white flag.
correct. And I'm not going to jinx it, but let's just say I'm pretty confident that we're going to get this done here. And if I do jinx it, you are more than welcome to send your hate mail to Sim Racing Media in the Conshohocken Studios, care of Dave Regal.
As the pace car peels off to go down pit road, Jeremy Miller gonna have the button as we go back to green flag action. Field entering the restart zone. Green flag is in the air, and we are back underway. Miller getting a much more reserved jump that time. Does have the help of the 37 of Tim Swigett. Stafford, though, has Brandon Minto glued to his back bumper right now. And that's the highest we've seen the 12 all night.
Minto's been hanging out pretty long all night long, and I'll tell you what, if I was Joe Stafford, If I was Joe Stafford, that's exactly who I want behind me.
Oh, don't do it.
I was going to say, look at J.C. Gibson and Austin Story going to the outside. They've got Nolan Hodgson, Nicholas Breitenbach with them. Oh man, that's
Timmy
so
Trowbridge
tight.
looking to see if he can get Stafford to come along with him, but not enough. As we're now 4 wide coming into the tri-oval here with Alex Prince, and wow,
Can
right
we
in the middle.
get to the start-finish line? Yes, we can. We're racing back to the checkers. Miller in control of this field right now. Swigett glued to his back bumper as they haul it off into turn numbers 1 and 2.
Josh Ward
Trowbridge.
getting ready to come along with Trowbridge here on that second line. Oh, no.
Trowbridge just got...
No, he just got hung out to dry.
He got fed a dummy. Here comes the one now. Ward going with Murray.
Murray's going to be pushing the crap out of Josh Ward's bumper here as they come into 3 and 4.
He's got to beat that thing into the back seat if he wants to make anything happen. Miller with a great lead right now. Here comes Spivey.
4 wide. Oh, Josh Ward sideways. There's all
Oh.
kinds of mayhem, but the top 3 getting ready to cross the start-finish line.
Miller, Spivey, and Tim Swigett rounding out your podium. Austin Story and J.C. Gibson rounding out your top 5. Gibson, your biggest mover, up 21. Let's go back and take a look at what just happened to Bob Nestor. And actually, that was before that. So we are going to go to this view. Here they are coming into the tri-oval. And side drafting, bump drafting, all going wrong. As it is a parking lot on the front chute here at Talladega.
I want to see that wreck again and look from Alex Prinson's look at Alex Prinson's car. He was sideways, got hit going back straight, and finished the race in 8th place.
All right, so let's go back and take a look at what happened here.
And if you want to know what happened to Bob Nestor, you have to look at it from Alex Prinson's car.
All right, so we're going to back this up to the start here, and we are going to get to the Choppa. And we are following Alex Prinson. There he is in the 19 M&M's Toyota Camry at the tail end of this piece. And you can see him getting chippy up towards the front there. The 12 still trying to find a hole. Here they are going into turn number 3. He goes to the middle lane. They're still chippy in front of him. And then things pop off way up there. There goes the one. There goes everybody else. And you can thank the 60 for saving his tail.
Wow.
Good grief. That was fun.
Great job out of Alex Prinson, though, to finish 8th.
You see the one get shuffled out there by the 40. And 40's trying to figure something out. They're 4 wide. 4 wide doesn't work. Stafford goes for a ride. But finishes the race. And right now, we are going to go back live. And we are going to reach out to the man of the hour right now. A man who was up front most of the night. Driver of the Land Shark number 44. Congratulations on winning Talladega, Jeremy Miller.
Thank you.
Talk us through that last lap and just how contentious that was.
Yeah, it was just trying to stay out front, manage the runs. Swigett laid back off of me, trying to build up the run like you're supposed to do here, and I was just getting ready to throw a block, but I think Spivey made a move behind them and side drafted them and killed their momentum. And once we hit the tri-oval, I pretty much knew it was set in stone that nobody was going to be able to develop the run from that point to get the pass on me. So it was kind of just one of the more relaxed finishes at Dega. It was couple inches away from being a lot more intense. But some things happen, and they just really shake up the last lap here.
Did you see what happened behind you?
Oh yeah, they wrecked big. Hopefully everybody's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. But Jeremy, again, congratulations on winning arguably one of the most complicated races we've seen at Talladega. But talk us through, generally the second lane pays dividends early here. But we saw all you guys doing bottom feeding racing all race long.
Yeah, I think. Well, I mean, I spent the entire race with a group of cars, and I'm quite frankly, we dominated the race. I don't know if anybody ever led at any other points of the race besides like one lap here and there with, us Cyclone guys and us field filler guys working together. Just we were flying. There was multiple times throughout the race where we left the field and we'd have like 7-car breakaways, and we're just driving away. It was just really good setup for everybody. Good teamwork, everybody. We were able to make swaps for temps and stuff like perfectly all night. Just really, really fast race car, and it didn't really matter what lane we were in. We could, on the restarts, if we needed to get to the top to get together, we could do that. We'd still drive back by the bottom. If we were already on the bottom, then good for us, and we were able to just drive away.
Yeah, absolutely. But Jeremy, again, masterful job. Minding your P's and Q's in the draft all night long. We saw you and Trowbridge work together for the vast majority of the night. Were you two planning on working together in the closing laps?
I mean, I think ideally we wanted to all be settling it between ourselves at the end, but it was definitely going to be, I mean, everybody's going to race for the win, and you have to, but cautions didn't fall right, got us kind of separated at the end and broke up the teamwork. But I mean, if it could have went naturally and ran, I think you would have seen the 4 or 5 of us running together until that last lap, and that would have been a brawl between just us. But other than that, we were all very committed all night, and that's what you got to do here to succeed sometimes.
All right, Jeremy Miller, congratulations again on winning at Talladega. Who do you need to thank before we let you go celebrate with your team?
Just you guys putting on a great broadcast. Everybody putting on this show here in the league. It's really fun racing over here. Second start, second last week, first this week, and it'll be hard to move forward a spot now. I called it last week in the interview. I said plate God for a reason. So it's definitely always fun to run here for me. Just thank all the guys at Cyclone and Field Builder for giving me a car to be able to show my talent here.
All right, Jeremy, we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
So that was our race winner, Jeremy Miller, and I believe, Josh, you have second place, Randy Spivey, with you now, sir.
Yeah, Randy, you finished second place. How'd you get it done tonight?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not sure. It was just a little bit of luck for sure. I was trying to just ride in the line and waiting for the right time, and I guess I just picked the right lines, the right moves at the right time, and it worked out for me. Just a little bit short, though.
All that chaos going around towards the end of the race, of course, that caution coming out and green, white, checkered happening. What was the mindset like?
It was rough. It was like, that's why I was kind of like, I was sitting back in like ninth, I believe, and I was like, well, I don't think I'm going to have enough time to make a run up here. But so I wasn't that confident, but it just came to me, so it ended up being good, and I was able to avoid the carnage.
Is this a big confidence builder moving forward to other tracks like Dover going into next week?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I've been on the up and ups, been working with my team. I want to thank my teammates, William, Fink, and Brian. Put in a lot of practice during the week to get better every week, and it's starting to pay off.
Well, second place, not too shabby, but before we let you go celebrate the second place, who gets it done for you?
What was that last part?
Who gets it done for you behind the 22 machine?
Who do you need to thank?
Oh, definitely just mainly William Fink, and then we got ILGM to help us out sponsoring. So if you ever need something from them. Look up ILGM. But mainly just teammates, hard work, and just practice. And obviously family and everybody that watching. I appreciate it.
That was Randy Spivey, second place finisher.
All right, Randy, we'll see you next week, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
And joining us now is the driver of the number 37, Tim Swigett. And Dave, I believe you got him with you now.
Hey, Tim, Dave Regal up here in the broadcast booth. You got a copy, brother?
I got you guys. How are y'all tonight?
Pretty good. Looks like you decided to get that P1 taken care of over top of Timmy Trowbridge and everybody else here in the field, including myself. What do you attribute to keeping it up front and keeping everybody else behind you?
Well, I got P3, did I not?
P3, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, look, the
Hey,
way
I'll
that
take
you
it. If
shuffle...
you want to give me P1, I'll take it.
No, I'm sorry. I was looking at something different. But the way that you shuffled up there toward the end of this race, I mean, was it the wind that was holding you back?
No, I mean, if I had $1 tonight for every time I got hung out to dry, I mean, even my teammates at Edge Racing did it one time. I don't think they did it on purpose, but it got to the point, I think, about 3/4 of the way through the race that I just like, all right, if I can't count on people to stay with me, then I'm just going to do my own thing. And that's kind of what I did there. And,
well, we were talking at one point during the broadcast that upper line, in lane 2 seemed like you could get higher RPMs. I mean, were you at least thinking about trying that a couple of times?
Yeah, you can go out there and the middle lane can be quite a bit faster as long as you got somebody that's got a really good at pushing there. I knew that, and that's that last restart. I was just committed to just staying behind Jeremy there and pushing him as just much as I could. I think I was just maybe a hair late coming out of 4, making a move on him, and I probably should have made it earlier because I think I hit 290 on my temperature. I was pushing him so hard for that last lap and a half there.
Well, you know what? Going up to 290 for a lap and a half, that's not going to kill the car. And if anything, at least if something bad would have happened, you could have said that you left it all out there on the track. But as we wrap up here, is there anybody you'd like to thank and tip the cap to?
Yeah, the guys over there at the Edge Setup Shop and Charge Race, and Ryan Shaw, Alex Murray, Glenn Bauer, they put together some great cars. I mean, I wouldn't be up there without that car tonight. I'm also going to give a big shout out to my buddy Donnie McGovern. He had a pretty nasty wreck yesterday in his kart race and took a tumble and had a broken collarbone and a broken hand. So hopefully he comes out okay. And just goes to show you that, we take for granted sometimes when we get in these sim rigs that, it's not real life, but the real life guys can really go out there and get hurt, So shout out to him. And again, Edge Racing and Charge Racing over there.
All right, man. Well, listen, we appreciate you here on Sim Racing Media and ESBN. Tony, it looks like another one in the books for Sunday Night NASCAR.
Yes, sir. And I'm more and more impressed by this league every week that I get to be in the booth to broadcast them. And if what we've seen in the past couple of weeks is any indication of what the rest of the season's going to bring, I might just have to be a glutton for punishment and be in the booth more often for these Sunday night NASCAR races.
Oh, trust me, it's definitely a lot more fun sitting in the booth sometimes than it is out on track. I mean, it's more exciting to watch it than it is to be it.
Well, I can understand your frustration, Dave. But that's,
buddy, listen,
that's
I would give up the wheel in a heartbeat to hang out with you for a couple hours.
Well, there we go then. But
Josh, how has things been here with Tony? You have an exciting night?
I will say I didn't know what to expect, but I had fun up at the booth tonight with Tony, and then of course you joining in.
Tony and I come with warning labels.
I did not read the warning labels, which I guess I should have. But it was fun. I enjoy calling these races. SNN, a lot of experience myself with SNN. So, these guys, I know how talented they are. They put on a great show tonight. And I expect nothing different next week at Dover.
Well said, sir. And, we're looking forward to that race at Dover next week. The Monster Mile, there's no place to hide on the front stretch or the back stretch. So if things pop off, it's going to get very ugly very quickly. But that is going to about do it for us tonight. For Mr. Josh Coppernall, I hope I said that right.
Yes, that was correct.
Okay. And Dave Regal, thank you for joining us in the booth. This is Tony Chapasso reminding you, ladies and gentlemen, that as you walk down the road of life this week, please don't play in traffic. Good night, everybody.